Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and for unboxings.com, and inside this plain white box I have the HTC Tattoo, which is obviously the latest handset from HTC to have the Google Android operating system. So let me just point out that though this is not final retail packaging, I do have final retail hardware, so everything you'll see here should be supplied with the final retail package. So obviously we have the handset itself just there. We'll look at that in a bit more detail in just a moment. Also in the box we have a headset which has a standard 3.5mm fold pole jack on one end, length of cable. Then we have a built-in microphone with a push button, and then the headphones themselves, which aren't too terrible. They're quite lightweight, but how they sound, not really sure. But you do have the option of using your own headphones because there is a standard 3.5mm jack connector on the handset. We then have a USB to extended mini USB sync charge cable, and then we have the charger itself, which is a fairly standard HTC wall charger, which has a USB connector on the top. So you use that USB sync charge cable along with this, and obviously then we have a UK 3-pin plug. So let's take a look at the handset itself. Just take off this protector here. It is probably the smallest Google Android handset available at the moment, and that is reflected in the size of the screen. It is actually a 2.8-inch display, and it is quarter VGA, so it's the smallest physically and also in terms of resolution, quarter VGA being 240 by 320 pixels. Most of the other Android handsets, in fact all the other Android handsets, have half VGA. So there's a couple of question marks there that a number of people have raised in terms of the screen, is whether or not all the other Android applications will run on that smaller display. We don't know the answer to that at the moment, but we will endeavour to find out. Underneath the display then, we have a series of keys. We have a home, a menu button, back button, search button, and then we have a phone keys, and then a D-pad, up, down, left, right, and then there's the push button right in the middle there. Interestingly, the push button itself is actually separate to the D ring there. It does look like it would spin, but it doesn't. On the left-hand side, we have an up-down volume control rocker. That's all there is to see on that side. And then on the bottom, we have the connector which is the extended mini USB connector for sync and charge. Then we have a hole there, which is actually the microphone. Absolutely nothing to see on the right-hand side. On the top, we have our headphone connector. That's where we plug in our headphones, and that is a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the back, we have a 3.2 megapixel camera, which is autofocus, but you'll notice there's no flash and no mirror for self-portraits. You'll notice the design on the back. Obviously we have the little Android and obviously the HTC, but also there is this fade, so it's darker on the bottom and it fades to a lighter silver at the top, which is obviously on the sides as well, which does look quite smart, and it is a little bit more interesting than just sort of a standard one colour back, so that is quite nice. It's quite a nice feature. Also, you may have seen that you can actually get different back covers for the Tattoo, and you can actually tattoo your tattoo, as they're calling it, and you can design your own, or you can buy pre-designed back covers. The battery is already installed, as you can see here, and you remove the battery to get to the SIM card. SIM card is just there like so, and also the back cover needs to be removed to get to the micro SD card, and a 2GB micro SD card is supplied. We believe that a 2GB card will come with a final retail, and the back cover pops on like so, and just clips into place. It's quite stiff, and if we just power up, I'll run down the rest of the specification while we wait for it to turn on. Obviously you can see it says there Tattoo. So first of all, obviously we have the Google Android operating system, Qualcomm processor running at 528 MHz, which is standard for Android handsets. We have 256 meg of RAM and 512 meg of ROM, which is pretty generous. There's a 2.8-inch display, and our Android's just popped up. It is quad band for GSM, so it will work pretty much wherever you take it throughout the world, and also it's dual band for HSDPA, supporting 900 and 2100 bands. Bluetooth 2 with EDR support and A2DP for stereo headsets. Wi-Fi built in, 802.11bng, and 3.5mm headphone jack, obviously we've mentioned a couple of times already. We have built-in GPS, there's also a G-sensor, digital compass and FM radio. If we just unlock display. It's telling me that the battery is extremely flat, unfortunately. So we have HTC Sense user interface that we've seen on the Hero, and it's quite a nice looking interface. It does look a little strange actually looking at it in our quarter VGA display, and it might take a little bit to get used to in terms of that screen being that bit smaller. But the user interface is much the same as on the Hero. We can bring up the menu and we've got camcorder, camera, clock, FM radio, footprints, Google Maps, Google Talk and so on. We go into the phone dialer, and then we have a fairly standard phone dialer. The screen is extremely sensitive though, the touch screen is extremely sensitive. We can go back, and then we can bring up the menu at the bottom, so we can see all programs, scenes, add to home and settings. We go to settings, and we can personalise. We can go into sound and display, and we can go into brightness, and we'll turn that up to full brightness and OK that. So we increase the brightness slightly there. G-Sense calibration also on there, it's all pretty standard stuff. And if we come back out of there, and we can go into camera, just have a quick look at the camera interface. There we go, and that's pretty standard, so let's take a very quick snap. There we go, and take a quick picture. Then the camera, although it's only 3.2 megapixel, doesn't look too bad. And we'll take a couple of sample shots when we actually come to do the full review. And we can swipe across, we can get to another panel here, so we can add our favourite people, so we can just call them by touching their name there. We have bookmarks for the web, which is just loading up there. So we have Google, eBay, Facebook and MySpace. And we swipe across again, and we have actually effectively a blank page here. We can add anything we want to on that. And that's as far as we go that way. We can swipe back across, and we swipe this way, we can go to HTC email and our messaging for text messaging and so on, weather, and that's as far as we go that way. So we go back to the home screen. In terms of other applications, we can just pop into here, go into Google Mail, we've got music, got settings, got Peep, which is the Twitter client, weather, and YouTube client there. Go to Peep. Obviously I don't have an internet connection here, I don't have a SIM card, I haven't set up the Wi-Fi. Just let me mention the rest of the specification then. According to the spec, we do have a standby time of 340 hours and a talk time of up to 390 minutes, which isn't bad. Dimensions, 109mm from top to bottom, 55mm wide and 14mm thick. Quite a lightweight handset, only 113 grams. It's also covered by a 2-year warranty, which is quite good. I guess there are some similarities between the Tattoo and the Touch range, this being the Touch 3G. Kind of similar, very similar in terms of size. Screen, again, very similar. Thickness, definitely some similarities there. And it is slightly lighter than the Touch 3G, I think 113 grams, it's pretty impressive. I think that's really everything in terms of spec to mention. We'll talk about the Tattoo in more detail when it comes to do our full review, which will be on site on tracyandmatt.co.uk over the next couple of weeks. And if you're a fan of our unboxing videos, check out the others that we have on unboxings.com.